This is PRM second chapter, fourth video. In this video, let us understand about different sampling methods and techniques. So in this video, we are going to learn about the one category, that is probability sampling. So in the sampling methods, we have two categorization, that is probability sampling and non-probability sampling. So let's understand the meaning of probability sampling. So probability sampling is a sampling technique while when it is used is if there is a large population and you want to draw a sample out of it, then the theory of probability is applied. The meaning of probability sampling is nothing but in the sampling frame, if every sampling units, if they know and if they have an equal chance of being selected as samples for the study, then it is called as probability sampling. For example, if there is a class of 50 students and among the 50 students, a sample of 5 people need to be drawn. Each one of the student of total 50 students, that is each one of the students among that classroom is known and has an equal chance of being selected as samples for the study. That is nothing but probability sampling. So there are different types of probability sampling. So let us understand one by one. The first method is simple random sampling. This is the most simplest method of sampling. So here, if the target population is known, what the researcher is going to do is all the subsets of the frame, that is all the samples, all the elements in the population, he is going to list down, or he is going to take all the subsets of the frame, and each, as I told you, probability means each element or each sample unit has an equal chance of being selected as samples. So in the population frame, what the researcher is going to do is he is going to randomly pick few people as samples. As you can observe in the chart, there are a list of names, and with random pick he has picked few, like 5 people he has picked. In the previous example, I told you a class has 50 students and you need to pick some 5 people. You can use any strategy just randomly as per the decision of researcher. He is not going to apply any sort of analysis. He is going to just randomly pick 5 people for his study. Then this is called as simple random sampling. The advantages and disadvantages of this method is that in the advantages, as we know, this is more simplest one. Minimum knowledge is required in order to understand and complete this sort of apply this sort of sampling technique, and it is very easy to analyze the data as well. The main disadvantages is that not many people are going to use this type of sampling technique because the entire population, target population or the population frame is to be known by the researcher. And this does not use the researcher's expertise. The researcher need not have required to use his expertise because randomly he's going to pick few people. And there is, since he picks very randomly, and there is a risk of random error in this. Let's move on with the next thing, that is systematic random sampling. And the systematic random sampling, here also randomly the researcher is going to pick few people, but he is applying some systematic order while he chooses the sample tech, or while he chooses sample for his study. How he is going to do is, in our example there are 50 people, and if the 50 students, if we ask them to stand in a row and ask them to just call out 1 2 3 4 5, and if I ask every fifth student should come, or if every 10th student to be selected as sample, then it is called as systematic random sampling. So you can just observe in the picture. First, order all the units in the sample frame. In the sample frame, you should make every sample units who can be selected, just ask them to stand in a row or order them or write it in an order. Okay, then every nth number, maybe it's a third person or second person or fifth or 10th, it is left to the decision of the researcher. So every nth number will be selected as samples. That is nothing but systematic random sampling. So the main advantage of this particular type of sampling is that the cost is very minimal and it's moderate. It's like even it is used moderately, and it's very simple to draw the sample after you make the order, and it's easy to verify also. The main disadvantages is that it takes time to make this periodic ordering, and if you're making the ordering again and again, and it takes a bit of time and it's a bit costly. The next type is stratified random sampling. Stratified is nothing but division. So stratified random sampling is that if the population is there, the target population is divided into two or more groups called as strata. So if the target population is there, among some homogeneity, you're going to divide it into two or three more groups. The groups are called as strata. From each group, you're going to select the subsamples randomly. You can see the picture over here. So from the main population, the population is divided into three groups here, considering bit homogeneity or classified according to the countries. So from each country, we are going to pick the samples randomly. So that is nothing but first you're going to divide it, and from the division, you're going to pick few people randomly. That is nothing but stratified random sampling. The main advantages of this is, since from each group the people are picked, it assures the representation of all the groups, since from each group the people would be there to represent their homogeneity group. Then the characteristics of each stratum, it is easy to estimate and comparison could be made since the representation is there from each group. The main disadvantages is that it is a bit costly to make the bifurcation like this for each stratum, and in order to make this group, the researcher should require the proper information to divide the group in a exact homogeneity form. So let's move on with the next type, that is cluster sampling. The cluster is also nothing but, the literal meaning of cluster is group. So here in the population there would be naturally divided clusters. So if you take the entire population, there will be naturally divided clusters. In the naturally divided clusters, what the researcher is going to do is, he's going to randomly pick few clusters and apply the study for those clusters. You can observe in this picture, there are total 5 sections. The researcher has divided the whole population into 5 divisions. After the 5 divisions, he has selected randomly section 1 and section 5. And if he selected the people from this sections, then it is called as cluster sampling. The main advantage of this is, the researcher can estimate the characteristics of both cluster as well as population very easily, because when you select 2 clusters from the population, that full cluster, you're not going to leave any one single person also from that cluster. Full entire population from those 2 clusters will be studied. That's why it is helpful for the researcher to study both the cluster as well as the population. The main disadvantage is that the cost is very high to make this process, and also if the clusters are more, then if you randomly pick any 2 clusters, then obviously the sampling error would be more. So the difference between the stratified versus cluster sampling would be detailedly told in the next video. So let's move on with the next type, that is multi-stage cluster sampling. Multi-stage cluster sampling is nothing but, you can observe the picture over here. So there are 10 population. They are called as primary clusters. As I told you, in the cluster, naturally the clusters would be formed. Let us take an example over here of the present situation. Let us take that all the 10 people who is there in the left, all the 10 people who are there was called as primary clusters. Let us take them as the COVID-19 patients. So 10 people are there. Among this 10 people, the researcher has randomly picked 4 clusters, that is 2, 3, 6 and 7. Let us assume that it is an area wise. So 10 areas are there, and the researcher has picked 2nd, 3rd, 6th and 7 randomly. And after this, patient number 2 or the area 2 has a sub-secondary clusters as 1, 2 and 3. What the researcher has done is, in the secondary clusters, he has randomly picked first and second. The same way for the 3, there are 4 secondary clusters, he has randomly picked 7th. 6th, 3 is there, he has randomly picked 10th. For 7, 5 are there, randomly picked first 3. So if he is randomly picking few people in the secondary clusters, that is called as a simple random, that is nothing but the multi-stage cluster sampling. This we can understand from the other picture. Here one more thing you need to observe is, this is not just multi-stage cluster sampling, but it is a combination of multi-stage stratified cluster sampling. So it's a combination of both stratified as well as cluster. So here we can see with the population, there is 10 populations. So among the 10 population, what the researcher has done is seeing the homogeneity. You can observe very clearly with the color, the red color, that is 1, 5 and 9 has similarity. Homogeneity, nothing but the similarity. So what the researcher has done, seeing the similarity, he has framed the group nothing but the stratas. So this 159 has similarity, one group, 2 and 6 another group, 4 and 8 and so on. So he has made 4 groups which has the similarity, that is nothing but the strata. With this strata, he has randomly picked a few secondary clusters. He has randomly picked the clusters, that's called as primary clusters. He has framed the clusters. From this clusters, he has randomly picked again few samples. Finally, he has selected these items, nothing but the samples. So in the next video, let me explain you the difference between the stratified and cluster sampling and also the non-probability sampling. So let me just summarize once. There are total 5 different categories, different types of probability sampling. The first one is simple random. Where you know all the frame and randomly you are picking few people, that's nothing but simple random sampling. Systematic, you order and ask every second person or third person or fifth person to be selected as sample. Stratified sampling, through some homogeneity you are going to divide that population into few groups. Among that group, among each group you are going to select few samples. That's stratified random sampling. Cluster sampling is nothing but you're going to divide the population into different clusters or groups, and among the naturally occurred groups you're going to pick any 2 or 3 clusters and you're going to select the people from there. That's nothing but the cluster sampling. So multi-stage sampling is nothing but this cluster will be selected in different stages. One is primary clusters, among them you're going to pick few people. Then secondary clusters, from that you're going to pick few people. That's nothing but the multi-stage sampling. So multi-stage stratified cluster sampling is nothing but from the population you have divided, from the population 10 people are there, from that you have divided into different groups. From the different groups you have selected and formed as primary clusters, and from the clusters you have randomly picked your samples.